Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really deep dive into an ambitious new concept that's currently building toward a massive 2027 launch. It's called EarthSTARS Underground. And look, if you've ever felt like traditional environmental movements are maybe missing a certain dynamic spark, well, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this.
Okay, let's jump right in by contrasting how we usually tackle environmental issues with what this project is doing. On one hand, you've got science giving us the hard data and policy creating the frameworks. And don't get me wrong, those are absolutely crucial. But look over at the other side. EarthSTARS Underground is betting everything on a completely different catalyst, and it's a simple one. Culture moves people. It's the idea that arts and culture are the true, raw engines for genuine human connection. Because, it's one thing to understand the data, but it's a whole different ballgame to actually feel something and be moved to act on it.
So what exactly is this platform? Well, think of EarthSTARS Underground as a new cultural space where arts, nightlife, environmental ideas, and community literally collide. And they're laser-focused on young adults and Gen Z. I mean, picture your standard environmental conference for a second. You're probably picturing fluorescent lights, long, slightly dry lectures in a sterile convention center, right? Well, this project completely bypasses all of that. Instead of making people come to a boring hall, they are bringing the critical conversations about our shared future directly into the cultural spaces where people already want to hang out. The creators behind all this, EarthSTARS.earth, really want you to visualize vibrant, high-energy gatherings. Just picture the kinds of things that naturally pull humans together on a Friday or Saturday night. They aren't trying to invent some brand new reason for people to get together. Actually, scratch that. It's more like they're tapping into the universal magnetic pole of creativity that already exists and just using it to deliver a totally different kind of message about the planet.
So how does this actually play out in real life? The variety here is just wild. We are not just talking about throwing a standard concert and calling it a day. An underground experience could feature live music and dance for sure, but then they'll mix in comedy or theater. Imagine watching a climate-inspired play running right alongside a sustainable fashion show, or spoken-word poetry interwoven with stunning visual art, or even local chefs and indigenous knowledge keepers exploring our relationship with food and land. The energy is boundless. Any of these creative worlds, or all of them at once, could collide in one wildly unexpected night.
But here is the really fascinating part. The creators are quick to point out that there is no single underground format, and that is 100% intentional. This isn't some cookie-cutter franchise that drops into your city and looks exactly the same as it did in the last town. This fluid format is basically their superpower. It means each and every experience is authentically shaped by the local artists, the specific venues, and the unique environmental stories of that exact community. It literally morphs and adapts to reflect the people in the room.
Now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, so they're just throwing really cool parties. Well, yes, but no. The ultimate goal isn't just to produce a fun night out. They want to deeply build community, spark curiosity, and forge ongoing collaborations. They want to take that raw energy of cultural participation, that electric feeling you get when you're deeply moved by a song or an amazing piece of art, and actively channel it into real, on-the-ground action for our planet. To actually make this work, it takes a massive interwoven ecosystem. It's like a giant puzzle where everyone gets something out of it. Students and universities get a real-world sandbox to experiment in. Artists get to develop new work and use their authentic voices. The venues themselves get to host super relevant programming and reach entirely new audiences. And meanwhile, sponsors and philanthropists can underwrite these experiences, directly connecting their resources with youth and community impact. It really is a fully realized, mutually beneficial setup. Just look at the sheer scale of community building required to pull this off. They're uniting everyone. We're talking Gen Z audiences, university arts programs, professional choreographers, club owners, and environmental orgs, all under one roof. And crucially, holding dedicated space for indigenous wisdom and localized community voices. I mean, just imagine the conversations happening backstage or out in the crowd when a regenerative innovator randomly connects with a local theater director. The cross-pollination of ideas happening here is absolutely huge.
But, the experience doesn't just evaporate when the venue's lights come on. EarthSTARS.earth media plays a really pivotal role here. Every single one of these gatherings is also a prime media opportunity. The goal is to comprehensively capture the people, the groundbreaking ideas, and the stories behind the experience, and share them with a much, much broader audience. It basically ensures that the energy generated on a Saturday night in one city ripples out across the digital landscape, reaching people far beyond those four walls.
So where are we on the timeline? How does this all build toward their ultimate vision?
Well, right now, today, they are in the thick of building that community and securing those diverse partnerships we just talked about. Moving into 2026, the focus shifts to evolving and testing the cultural platform itself. But look at the destination, Earth Day and Earth Week 2027. They don't envision this as just a single, isolated event, but as the massive, widespread public launch of this constantly evolving platform.
Whether it's a super intimate gathering or a major citywide collaboration, their operational goals remain completely steadfast. It boils down to this: make caring about the planet social, make learning experiential, make participation creative, and ultimately make regeneration part of culture. This totally reinforces why bringing these complex environmental conversations into nightlife and art spaces matters so much. Think about it. If regeneration is just a scientific term, it stays stuck in the lab. But if it becomes a celebrated part of our culture, that changes the world.
As we kind of wrap things up for this explainer, let's zoom out to the bigger idea driving this whole endeavor. EarthSTARS Underground is boldly trying to use the arts to forge genuine human connection. The ultimate goal is to foster an environment where that connection turns basic awareness into active participation and eventually transforms that participation into a permanent, regenerative culture. And just for context, a regenerative culture goes way beyond just sustaining what we currently have. It's about actively healing and improving our natural and social ecosystems.
Which brings us to their official sign-off, which is basically a rallying cry for the future. Come for the culture. Connect with the planet. The Earth needs stars. Rise with us. It's a pretty powerful invitation, right? So, as we close out today, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. When this platform officially launches in 2027, how will you use your own unique creativity, your voice, or your passion to participate in this intersection of art and climate? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep looking for those creative ways to make regeneration a part of your own culture.